Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of ManageEngine OpManager's free training series. The goal of this training session is to simplify network monitoring and help you utilize OpManager in the best way possible. I hope this objective gets met by the end of this session. I would also like to let you know that the group of panelists with us today, please feel free to raise your queries on the chat panel and they will be happy to answer all the questions right away. For today's session, we'll be talking about OpManager's monitoring capabilities. Basically, a good network monitoring tool is one that supports a wide range of vendors and device types and gives you comprehensive visibility into your network. With a detailed view of the network monitoring data, you will be able to enhance your network performance. With this objective, we have built OpManager, and I hope it helps you maximize your network's availability and performance. Now, please note that all these four parts happen in two different time zones. One is 6 a.m. GMT and the other is 11 a.m. EDT. So depending on your convenience, you can attend either of these sessions. Also note that we will be sending you a copy of the training video along with the presentation for your future reference. So without any further ado, let's get into part 2, monitoring in OpManager. First, let's have a look at today's agenda. The first topic that we'll address is availability monitoring. Then we'll talk about server performance monitoring and the metrics involved in measuring performance. We'll also talk about the various default performance monitors available in OpManager. The next thing we'll address is about network performance monitoring and the various device types supported by OpManager. Then we'll talk about WLC and IPSLA monitoring. That being said, we'll start with availability monitoring right away. Now, availability is the most basic and fundamental requirement for any enterprise or business network, and an unplanned network downtime can cause serious consequences to your business. So to prevent that, OpManager monitors the network devices in your environment and it pings the devices at regular intervals to get its availability status. Basically, OpManager monitors the availability of devices using ICMP. However, you can also use SNMP and TCP protocols to check the availability of the device. So if ICMP is blocked or disabled in a network, you can check the device availability of the devices using a TCP port check. Also with OpManager, you can define the polling interval according to the criticality of that device. Besides availability, the packet loss and response time are also tracked, and you can set thresholds to ensure you get alert notifications in case something goes wrong in your network. We'll see more in detail about thresholds and alarms in the forthcoming sessions. Now let's go to the UI and see how to monitor the availability of a device. Let's go to the setup. Let's click on inventory and let's click on the device. So here you see the device snapshot page. So if you want to define the polling interval, just click on the sandwich icon, click on availability monitoring, and here you have the polling interval. You can choose between 5 to 60 minutes as provided, or you can choose a custom time if necessary. If you click the sandwich icon again, you can also choose to edit your device details. So you can change the display name, you can choose a vendor, the type, the availability monitoring. You can choose whether you want it to be monitored by ICMP, TCP, or SNMP, and you can choose to poll using the IP address or the DNS. And here you also have something called the uplink dependency. So in the last part, we spoke about setting up an uplink dependency, which means setting up a parent-child relationship for the device to optimize the number of alert states. The reason why packet loss and response time are placed beside availability is that, say, for example, you have a critical device and the device experiences huge packet loss and high response time. And in that case, the device being 100% available absolutely makes no sense. Hence, you have the details of availability, packet loss, and response time in a single console. Now, before I move ahead with the further slides, here's a quick hack for you. The thumb rule to network monitoring using OpManager is Now, if I want to add a particular monitor to a large number of devices, just click on settings, click on performance monitors here, and you can click on a particular monitor. You can click associate and you can choose to associate a particular monitor with a device. But if you want to add or associate monitors to a single device, just go to inventory again. You can just click on the add performance monitor here, and you can select performance monitors from these categories. The criteria is very simple. You either need to add a monitor to a large number of devices, or you can add a monitor to a single device. Now, if you need to add a large number of devices, like I still showed you, just go to settings and click on performance monitors here, and you can add a particular monitor to a large number of devices. For a single device, back to the inventory, click on the device, go to monitor, and just add the monitor from actions tab here. So let's go back to the presentation. Now let's talk about process monitoring. So you may have crucial devices in a network that run different and important processes. Monitoring them on a timely basis is important to keep your network up and running all the time. So with OpManager, you can monitor active processes running on any machine, track the status, view the CPU and memory utilization of a particular process. You can assign thresholds for monitors and get instantly alerted on any breach incidents, and you can also choose to terminate or kill any unnecessary processes that are not required for your network needs. Now, let's see how this looks in the product. Let's go to settings, and under monitoring, click on processes. So you already have process templates running. So if you want to add a new one, just click on add. You select the device name, select the protocol. You can use the credential library or you can use an associated credential and click on next. So these are all the different processes that you can add for this device. So once you click on save, these processes will be saved to this monitor. So again, if you want to add a process for a single device, let's just go back to inventory again, and it's similar to what I showed you before. On monitors, under actions, just click on process monitors. You can add new monitors from right here. And this is for adding process monitors to a single device. So let's go back to the presentation. And now let's move on to service monitoring. Now let's talk about Windows service monitoring first. OpManager by default supports Windows service monitoring and also service monitoring via TCP port check. The main difference between a Windows service and a service monitor that a Windows service monitor runs on the Windows server directly and checks if a particular service is up or down and alerts you accordingly. Whereas a service monitor is just going to check the TCP ports availability. So basically, OpManager associates monitors dedicated to the services running in your Windows machine and gets the real-time availability of Windows-based devices. It also allows you to restart a service or a server when it goes down. Now, your organization may have production servers where you will be able to view all the services running in that particular server. And from those list of services, you could pick the services important for your organization and monitor them. So let's go back to the setup again. Settings and under monitoring, you have Windows services. Again, you can see a list of default services here. So let's just pick a particular service. Let's pick the alerter. So you have the option to generate alarms. You can choose to restart the service, or you can choose to restart the server, or you can choose to do nothing in case the service is unavailable, and just click save to save these settings. Now to add a new service, just click on add. So let's select a device. Again, you can choose to use a credential library or associated credential. You can click on next. And these are all the different Windows services that you can add here. So once you've added those services, you can just click on associate to associate them with the different devices in your OpManager build. Now, again, if you want to add a Windows Service Monitor for a particular device, just click on Inventory, go to the device, go on Monitors, and here, just add the new monitors. There you go. Excuse me. So now that we've seen how to add a new monitor to OpManager, let's go to the next slide and talk about file and folder monitoring. Now, if you want to keep track of the files and folders in your organization and understand what changes are being made to them, this feature is the one for you. Now, with this feature, you can monitor the existence of files and folders. You can monitor file content, file size, file age, modification, and the size of a folder. You can also configure thresholds based on the criticality of the file. For instance, you might want to be notified if the folder size increases beyond a defined limit, or if some files in a folder are missing. For some files, say you want to get, and sometimes if you want to get notified about an increase in a file size, you can configure an appropriate file monitoring template with the file size monitor and apply the same to the devices in which you want to monitor. Now, to see how this works in the product, let's go back to inventory. Let's click on a device, click on monitor. And if you click on file monitors, now you can choose to add a particular file monitor by clicking on add. You can choose to associate a template name, provide the file path. You can choose from what the file contains, the file existence, file size, file age, and whether the file has been modified in any way. You can also choose to associate a file monitor with this if necessary. And the same goes for folder monitors. So if you click on add monitor under folder monitor, this is pretty much the same thing. Provide a template name, a folder path. You can provide the polling interval. And here you can choose from folder existence, folder size, or folder modification. And of course, you can choose what you want you want the alert to be alerted about. You can choose to be alerted if it doesn't exist, the folder exists, or you can choose not to monitor. Now, obviously, a folder is not going to be blank all the time. Sometimes it may contain files that you want to monitor for any number of reasons. For that, you can choose from the file filter here. So you can choose again here from the file name contains, the file size or age, or the file count within that particular folder. So now that we've seen how to monitor files and folders in OpManager, let's move on to device templates. Now, device templates are a very useful feature in OpManager. Now, let's say you're adding a particular device. Maybe you're adding a Windows server to OpManager. Now, there are a set of post-discovery configurations that you need to do for OpManager. For example, setting up thresholds. Now, you can choose to simplify this process by using OpManager's device templates. So let's see how this works in the product. Let's click on settings. So under configuration, just click on device template. And these are the list of device templates already available in OpManager. OpManager has about 13,000 plus device templates now. So if you want to associate a new template, you can just click on the template and you can choose to associate monitors here. You can see the vendor name and so on. Now, if you want to add a new template, just click on add template. You can provide the name, the vendor name, the category, the availability monitoring interval, and the device identifier. Now, once you provide the device identifier, you will have to provide the associated monitor as well. So these monitors will include stuff like CPU utilization, memory utilization, and so on. So this is how device templates work in OpManager. Now, let's move on to script templates. Now, script monitoring is something that will be useful When you want to monitor a specific metric that is not supported by the standard SNMP or WMI protocols. Now you can write your own scripts in any of the supported languages like Python, VB, Perl, etc. And these scripts can directly be imported into OpManager and be executed to get results. These scripts can both be executed on the local server as well as remote machines. And the only requirement is that the output of these scripts should be in a predefined form. For example, the instance and its respective value followed by the next instance and its value. You can always contact our support team for further assistance. Now, for an example, let's say you want to monitor expiry dates of certain SSL certificates on your servers. That cannot be done using SNMP or WMA protocols. For such cases, with just a basic understanding of simple languages, you can use scripts and monitor them. Now, to see how to execute a script monitor, just click on Settings. And under Monitoring again, click on Script Templates. So you have all these existing scripts available here. So to add a new one, just click on Add. Now provide the name, the description, the monitoring interval, and the units. Provide the data type. Now provide the command line and the script body for the script. Provide the timeout. You can provide the execution directory. And you can associate threshold details for the script if necessary. And once you click Save, you can add the new script template to OpManager. To associate the script template with a large number of devices, it's the usual. Just click on a device and just click on Associate, and you can select the devices and associate the script with those devices. Again, to apply it to a single device, go to Inventory, click on Device, Monitor, click on Script Monitors. You can choose to add a monitor here, or you can associate existing monitors here. Now, let's move ahead and let's talk about storage monitoring. So storage devices form an integral part of any business organization. So OpManager also acts as a storage monitoring tool and supports a wide range of devices like RAID, tape libraries, FC switches from leading vendors like Dell, HP, IBM, etc. We're also constantly expanding support for various storage devices in each of our releases. And OpManager also has exclusive dashboards and dedicated reports for storage monitoring. So to see how these storage devices look in OpManager, let's go to a different setup. Let's click on the storage tab here. And if we click on the device here, so under the device summary page, you can see the normal details like the status, the availability state, and so on. And below, you can see the device information and the shelf, and you can see the storage dials here. Now, if you click on the disks, you can see the associated disks and their status. And under the LUN, you can see the storage capacity, how your storage capacity has been logically pooled. And now you have complete visibility on the used and available capacity. So OpManager also monitors hardware associated to your storage device, and that you can find under the storage info right here. And you can also take a look at the monitors associated with the storage device right here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, OpManager also has storage reports which exclusively cover the storage environment's data. So once you click on the reports tab under OpManager, you will find storage reports. And here you can see the GO10 RAID forecast by utilization, disk writes, each section, disk IOPS, and a lot of other metrics. So we also have an exclusive storage dashboard. So if we click on the dashboard tab and we click on storage and storage overview, you can see the dashboard dedicated to storage devices right here. So let's go back to the presentation. And now let's talk about VMware performance monitoring. So OpManager supports various virtualization vendors, and VMware is one of the leading vendors in the virtualization market. OpManager supports your organization's virtual environment, enabling you to discover and monitor the VMware environment and helps you get a complete visibility of your VMs, hosts, and data stores. Now, OpManager relies on VMware API protocol, and you can associate various performance monitors like CPU ready time, CPU wait time, memory balloon, data store, etc., and monitor hardware metrics like sensor, power, temperature, voltage, etc. Now let's go to the UI and talk a little more about VMware events, dashboards, and reports. So let's click on the virtualization tab, and under VMware, let's click on a particular server. So here you can find the details about the virtual devices. So you can find the number of devices associated with this host server. You can choose to start or stop monitoring a particular virtual machine. We also talk about VMware events. And for that, we have a dedicated option to view events like inventory changes and VM migration about the addition of any new host, any new VMs being powered on or off. And for that, let's go to a different setup. Let's click on settings, and under monitoring, let's click on VMware events. So you have all of these events available right here. So you can choose to add a new VMware event if necessary, or you can associate them with existing devices. So all of these events will be captured and you can view them from here. You can also choose to change the severity of these events. And that's all there is to talk about VMware events. So again, we have a dedicated dashboard to monitor your virtual environment, which you can choose, which you can see by clicking on the dashboard icon, and you click on virtualization. You can see the dashboard dedicated to your virtual devices. And here you can see details like the top host, memory utilization, disk usage, network usage, memory utilization, and so on. We also have a dedicated report section for virtual devices as well. Let's just click on reports this time. And if you click on the virtual servers report, you have the details of the virtual, all your virtual machines. You can choose the top, you can see the top VMs by memory over allocation, under allocation, CPU over allocation, and under allocation. You can see the idle VMs and other details. So now we cannot end virtualization without talking about Nutanix. So next we'll address Nutanix monitoring. You might very well be aware that Nutanix is yet another leading vendor in the virtualization market. OpManager extends its support to monitoring Nutanix devices. And as mentioned in the last part, we have a dedicated section for discovering and monitoring Nutanix environments in real time using SNMP, WMI, or CLI protocols. You will be able to discover clusters and get all the information in a unified console. So let's go back to the product again, and let's see how to monitor Nutanix clusters. So let's click on virtualization, and let's click on the Nutanix tab. So let me show you Nutanix cluster now. So here under the device summary, again, you have all the normal details like the status, availability state, and below you can see the cluster details and the custom dials associated with it. And here, you can see the storage containers associated with the Nutanix cluster as well. So basically, if you want to expand your hard disk, you can see all the information here. You can understand the existing space, and from this, you'll be able to make well-informed decisions to plan your organization's capacity. Now, similar to that, we can also monitor Hyper-V and Zen VMs in your network. This will help you track your VMs, identify idle ones, and improve resource allocation and utilization. So now we've come to one of the most important parts of this presentation. Let's talk about performance monitoring. But before that, let's just take a brief moment and reflect on the objective of attending this training session. I believe you want to understand how monitoring is done using OpManager and how to ensure that the monitored network is in good health and performance. Now, OpManager does that perfectly by enabling you to monitor all of your network components, such as switches, routers, servers, printers, firewalls, VMs, Nutanix environments, and any other device that is connected to the network to an IP address in a single console. As and when a device or a set of devices are discovered in OpManager, it, excuse me, it associates a set of monitors to those devices and begins the monitoring process. So let me demonstrate that for you in the product. So let's go to the product. Let's click on settings, and under monitoring, you have performance monitors. Just click on performance monitors. And here you have a detailed list of all the default list of all the performance monitors like CPU utilization, CPU ready time, active memory, and so on. So OpManager's predefined performance monitors help you take control of your device by setting up device-specific monitors to drill down on any particular aspect of a device that you want to monitor. Say for storage devices, when you associate performance monitors like CPU and memory, every time OpManager monitors storage devices, the defined set of monitors will be automatically assigned. I don't need to take up time to set up monitors every time the storage device is discovered. So OpManager reduces your effort by half. You can also see the number of devices that this particular monitor is associated to. So you can, if you click on a particular device, click on a particular monitor, you can edit the details of this monitor, and you can any changes you make here will be reflected throughout the network. You can also view monitors at the device level. That is, if you wanted to know what performance monitors are available for a particular device model, just go to device settings, another configuration, click on device template. So let's just click on the Windows 2016 template. And here you can see the associated monitors to this device template. So if you want to add more monitors to this list, you can just click on add. And here you have a list of predefined monitors for this model. And so each device so please note that each device template is unique to each device model. And if you want to know the types of devices discovered, just go to the network tab. So you can click on routers, see the routers discovered, switches, printers, firewalls, and so on. So once OpManager associates a monitor and begins to monitor a device, you can find all that information in the snapshot page, like I had shown you previously. Now let's go back to the presentation. And now let's talk about adaptive thresholds. Now this is a truly special feature that OpManager provides. OpManager's advanced predictive algorithms help network admins automate the threshold configuration process. Using historical data and current usage patterns, OpManager develops a data model capable of predicting highly reliable forecast values, which in turn will be used for setting thresholds. As days go by, the accuracy of the data model will also increase. OpManager will need 3 days worth of monitor data to begin with. And in case you don't have 3 days of monitor data, you can monitor your network manually until then and let OpManager steer the wheel post the 3-day period. Now, you have now it is to be noted that OpManager currently only supports adaptive thresholds for CPU utilization, memory utilization, and response time monitors. So let's see how to configure it in the UI. Let's go to the setup. Let's click on settings. Another monitoring, let's click on monitor settings. And here you have the adaptive threshold settings. So you can just choose to enable it by clicking on this particular checkbox. And like I said, you have the CPU utilization, memory utilization, and response time for now. So you can also enable them individually in a device level from the respective snapshot pages. And you can also edit them from device template pages. So if you click on a particular device, click on monitors, and if we click on So click on monitor and you click here. You can choose to enable the adaptive threshold section here, and you can also enable it from the device template section if necessary. So you have the details here. You can also choose to enable it from device template section if necessary. So now let's talk about forecasting performance tips. This is another AI-enabled feature in OpManager. You can forecast the usage of any performance metric of a particular device using this feature, and you can forecast values up to a 14-day period. So let's see how this works in the UI. Let's go to the setup. Let's go to inventory. Let's select the device. And if you click on the monitor section here, just click on this magnifying section here, and here you have the forecast reports. So these are the forecasting reports for today. Now, if you want to see the forecast reports for the next 24 hours, you have the option for that. You can choose for the next 12 hours. You can choose for the next 14 days, or you can even choose a custom time period if necessary. So this will help you out with the detailed graph about this particular device's future trends. So now let's move on to interface monitoring. Now, interfaces are the core of any network as they form a bridge between your system and the other interfaces and connecting the entire network. On discovering the required interfaces and beginning to monitor them, OpManager will help you gain complete visibility over your network interfaces and its operations. You can also monitor certain key attributes like transmitted and received traffic, error and discard rates. And apart from this, OpManager also updates basic interface properties like speed and description automatically every 24 hours, thus saving you the time and effort from doing this manually. Let me show you how interface monitoring is done in the product. So let's go to the product. Let's click on settings and let's click on interfaces. And if you click on the device, on the particular interface, so you can see on the device snapshot page, you have the obvious categories. So if you click on the interface graph, you have a graphical representation of details like the total bytes transfer, the interface traffic, utilization, errors, and discards. And if you click on the sandwich icon, you can get a bandwidth report as well. So you can choose to download it as an XLS or PDF file, and you can choose to schedule a particular report about the bandwidth utilization as well. Now, if you want to apply bulk configuration to these interfaces, let's go to a different setup. Let's click on settings. Under configuration here, you have interface templates. So if you want to add a new interface type, just click on interface type. So you have different interface types here. So OpManager by default will categorize interfaces into corresponding types with the help of these predefined templates. These templates will help you apply configuration changes throughout your network. Now, under the interface type, let's just select the Ethernet template. So here you have details like the utilization, the error rate, and the discard rate. And if you make any changes here, it will get updated across your network wherever Ethernet interfaces are found. Now next, let's talk about the interface groups feature. Now this feature in OpManager helps you group interfaces together for organized network management and push bulk configurations easily throughout the product. Now we'll be able to understand how to create interface groups. Now to set that up, let's go to the product again. And if you look at interface templates, you have the interface group section. Just click on that and click on add group to add a new one. Let's add a new interface. Let's click on next. So if you had attended my the previous presentation, you would have seen how we selected interfaces to be added to OpManager during the discovery section. So it's pretty much the same process here. You have to select a particular criteria, provide it, and once you add it, just click on next. So let's select all of them. And once you click on save, you've created a new interface group in OpManager. So it's as easy as that. So now let's move on to hardware monitoring. Now, hardware monitoring is pretty important, but we often tend to underlook it. Even if there is something wrong with the network, we tend to analyze the network at the software level rather than checking the device's hardware. Any malfunctioning of hardware can seriously affect the performance of a network. For example, say in your storage device the fan isn't functioning well, it may increase the ambient temperature, thereby increasing latency and affecting the end device, eventually slowing down network performance. This is why hardware monitoring is important. So let me show you how this looks in the product. So under servers, let's click on IPMM monitoring. Let's click on the device. And if you click on the hardware tab, here you have the different details. You have the battery, display data, the fan. And underneath you have a hardware graph, which shows you the details of the different hardware materials as visually represented here. Now, if you've seen hardware monitor, let's go on to the WLC monitoring section. Now, wireless LAN controlling monitor is yet another licensed module inside OpManager that allows you to monitor all your WLCs across multiple vendors and gain in-depth information on traffic usage via wireless and wired network components, the signal strength, authorized and unauthorized Wi-Fi connections detected by your access points, which will be listed out as SSIDs and rogue devices. And you will also get detailed information on the health and availability of your access points and active clients across your network. And again, we have exclusive WLC reports available as well. So let's see how to monitor WLC devices in OpManager. Once you're in the setup, just click on network and the wireless. Let's click on the WLC controller. And here you have the normal details in the snapshot page, the device summary, the custom dials, and the SSIDs versus number of APs and client count. You can see the top right network AP network usage and the down APs as well. So you can check on a number of SSIDs, the number of access points, the rogue SSIDs selected, and the number of clients associated with this particular WLC. So if you want to look at a custom dashboard for your WLC, just click on dashboard. Under network, you have the WLC overview. So here you have a dashboard exclusively for your WLC devices. Now, if you want to look at WLC reports, just click on OpManager on reports, and under OpManager, you have WLC reports. You can check the details of rogue SSIDs, the AP details, and the AP availability. Now let's move on to Meraki monitoring. Now, OpManager extends its support to Cisco Meraki controllers, and with a simple discovery process, you can get visibility into all your Meraki devices, such as Meraki Security, Meraki Switch, Meraki Radio, Meraki Cellular Gateway, Meraki Vision, access points, SSIDs, clients, nodes, and ports in a single view. Now let's see how this looks in the product. Let's go back to the setup. And under network, let's click on wireless again. And we look at a Meraki controller. So we have the normal details on the device snapshot page. You can see the top 5 devices by network usage, the MR summary, the top 5 SSIDs, the down Meraki devices, the down APs. You can also check the devices. You can also check under the all devices section. You can check the end devices such as switches, firewalls, radios, visions, like I mentioned earlier. You can also check on the row of APs associated with this particular Meraki device. You can check on the number of clients connected to this device. And we also have a dedicated dashboard for Meraki as well. So tap under network, just click on Meraki overview, and there you have it. And now let's move on to Cisco ACI monitoring. Now most organizations are starting to switch to software-defined networking, that is SDN infrastructures. And OpManager and Cisco has come up with application-centric infrastructure, that is a Cisco ACI in architecture for SDNs. You can discover your entire Cisco ACI infrastructure and get a comprehensive view of all components, such as the fabrics, tenants, and endpoint groups. So to see how this looks in OpManager, let's go to the inventory page. So let's search for the device. And under the Cisco ACI summary tab, you have details like the infrastructure health status, and you have the recent 10 faults available. So you can check on the topology. You can check how your spine and leaf architecture is connected. And under fabric, you can check, or this is like a summary for the spine and leaf devices. You can check the tenants, and if you click on a tenant, you can check the application groups associated with these particular tenants. And the endpoint groups, you can choose to check on the end devices associated with under these endpoint groups. And if you want to monitor them in OpManager, all you have to do is click on the start button. So you can also, again, you have a custom dashboard for SDN devices as well. The network again, click on SDN overview, and there you have it. So you can check on the infrastructure health status, the tenant health score, the fabric heat map, and so on. So now let's talk about IPMI monitoring. So IPMI stands for Intelligent Platform Management Interface and has become a universal standard supported by a majority of hardware vendors. So discovering your IPMI devices in OpManager is as easy as clicking a few buttons on the user-friendly web console. So once done, all hardware sensor metrics are immediately available for you to monitor in the IPMI snapshot itself. We support vendors like Dell, HP, IBM, and Supermicro. So let's see how this looks in the UI. Click on inventory, and here let's look at the IPMI device. So under the summary page, we have the normal details. Here you can choose to monitor the server associated with this particular IPMI device. And below that, you have the sensor info. You can see the status of your battery, processors, memory, display data, and so on. And here you have the hardware information. You can also check on the interfaces associated with this particular IPMI device. Under the hardware page, like I showed you, you can see a list of the hardware associated with this particular device. So now we've almost reached the end of today's session. So let's start talking about IPSLA monitoring. So let's say you're working in a distributed network environment where you have multiple development centers connected to your headquarters. Sometimes in such cases, you may face latency issues when you perform a data transfer between the headquarters and the development center. Or let's say when you try to make a voice call, the call can sometimes get disconnected due to huge packet loss. In these cases, you can make use of the IPSLA monitoring feature and monitor the WAN, RTT, and VoIP of your network using OpManager so that you can quickly identify bottlenecks and take corrective measures to fix them. So this brings me to the next topic, which is WAN and VoIP monitoring. It monitors jitter, latency, packet loss, and round trip time of your WAN and VoIP environments, and helps you effectively reduce the mean time to repair, that is the MTTR. So let's see how this looks in the product. In the network, let's click on IPSLA, and let's click on the VoIP monitor. So underneath you have details like the jitter, the round trip time, packet loss, the latency, and so on. You have the threshold details and notification profile if necessary. You can check the MOS history, the positive or negative jitter, the latency history, the call path availability, packet error statistics, round trip time history, and so on. And you can also check on the alarms this device generated. If you want to check on the WAN monitor, again, you have the options to check the round trip time, the threshold violation for that, and the errors. You have the threshold details, and you can check on the alarms that this router has generated. So let's go back to the presentation. And now let's talk about the last set of features that were added to this product. So let's talk about file integrity monitoring. This feature has been introduced to verify the integrity of files present under OpManager's installation directory in your local server. We have a set of files like the BAT files, exe files, SSH, DLL, and VBS that is needed to run OpManager smoothly. Now with this feature, OpManager will alert you if any of these files are tampered or modified. You will also get an alert in case an external file falls inside that folder. You can periodically scan the OpManager folder to ensure that only credible files are present. You also have the option to exempt certain files while scanning, and OpManager will not raise an alert. Exempt a few files. Here's a scenario. Let's say you contact us for a custom requirement and an engineering team give you a file based on your requirement. In this case, you can whitelist these kinds of files so that a file integrity alert will not be raised. So when you discover such unwanted files, you can take actions such as maybe delete the file if it is harmless, or if you feel it is a security threat, you can very well contact our support team. So let me show you how this looks in the product. Let's go to settings, and under general settings, click on security settings. So if you click on file integrity, so you can see that OpManager has been scanned and no threat files detected. So you can see, you can choose to monitor external files that may be present in OpManager. So if you select these files and you click on the Actions tab, you can choose to whitelist, blacklist, or exclude these files from monitoring. So let's talk about network path analysis. So today, many organizations depend on cloud applications to run their business, and cloud applications are widely used for data storage, email services, CRMs, ticket handling platforms, and more. And when you face network issues like slow performance or any disruptions while accessing a cloud application, it will be very tempting to shift the blame on the ISP. But the problem doesn't always lie with the ISP. Networks are generally complex and multi-layered, and any data transmitted over a network passes through different network devices like routers, switches, firewalls, and access points. The data traveling from one point to another on the network is called a hop. For example, if you access a meeting app like Zoho Meeting to tune into an audio session, but during the meeting you find that the audio often breaks, the result is you just hear indistinct words. The audio sound that you receive is sent in the form of packets, and on the way the packets drop, and this is packet loss. To identify the origin of the issue, you have to pinpoint the exact place on the network path where the data is being lost and identify the particular hop where there is an issue. So with OpManager's network path analysis feature, you can visualize the entire network path between the source and destination. The network path will populate all the network devices between the source and the destination, and you can view the hop by hop performance and analyze where there is latency or packet loss occurring. Moreover, you can proactively configure for threshold violations and get notified instantly whenever the specified value is breached for latency or packet loss. Let's see how this looks in the product. Let's go to settings, and under monitoring, you have network path analysis. So if we click on one of them, so you can see the network represented as a series of hops, and you can check what precisely is the problem in any one of these hops. So OpManager, OpManager in this case is the source, and so you only need to give the destination device, and OpManager will automatically visualize network paths between the source and the destination. So I click on create new path. It's exactly what I'm talking about. All you have to provide is the host name with the IP address, the port, the path name, and the interval. So now that we've come to the end of the session, let's move on to some questions that have been asked frequently. So I want to get a quick health check of my OpManager installation. How do I do this? Well, that's pretty simple. So if we go to the product and we click on the support icon right here, click on system performance. And all you have to do is download the support analysis file from here. And you'll have a file that has all of the details present right here. And you have just have to provide this to our support team to get a comprehensive health check of your OpManager and the devices connected to it. So how can I monitor a server related to an IPMI device? So I had showed you this previously when I was talking about IPMI monitoring. Let's go to inventory again. And let's click on the IPMI device. So you have the server associated with the IPMI monitor here. All you have to do is select the SNMP credential, and you can click on discover to discover this device. So can I add custom monitors to my devices? Yes, OpManager does let you add custom monitors. So let's see how it's done in the product. So once you click on settings, under configuration, you have device template. So let's choose a particular device template. So if you want to add a new monitor, just click on add. And you have all of these predefined monitors here. So you can choose from these, or if you want to add a custom monitor, all you have to do is click on choose OID. You can choose a particular OID if you want. You can test it. You can choose to query the device. You click on next, and you just have to provide the number of units, the measurement that is, and you can choose to enable threshold for this particular device. You can also choose to add SNMP OIDs as well to add multiple monitors to this particular template. And you can choose to add a WMI monitor as well. So what is the quick configuration wizard? That's a very interesting question. Let's go to settings. And under configuration, you have the quick configuration wizard. Now the quick configuration wizard is a single window that helps you make bulk configuration changes and apply it to multiple devices across with a few clicks. So to see what I mean, let's click on the quick configuration wizard and let's click on monitoring intervals. Now let's say I want to quickly set a monitoring interval for the Meraki switch in OpManager. Now it's been set to 15. Now I set it to 10 and I click on save. So the monitoring intervals for the Meraki switches within OpManager have been updated. So in this way, you can apply configuration changes quickly. And that is why it's given the name Quick Configuration Wizard. So what are the prerequisites for IPSMA? You need to ensure the source device, which is a Cisco device, has been discovered in OpManager. You should configure SNMP credentials with read and write permissions and associate to the source device. The source and destination devices should be reachable from the OpManager server, and you can check the reachability of the device by using the ping function. So the ping function is pretty simple. Just click on inventory, let's click on a device, and this is the ping function. So you can check whether the device is responding to the ping or not. And now, before we move on, I just got a request saying that someone wanted to talk to me to talk about folder monitoring again. So let's talk about folder monitoring once more. So once you click on inventory, just select the device, click on monitor. So you have folder monitor here. Let's go to another setup. Let's click on monitors, and your folder monitor is here. Now, if you want to add a new monitor to a particular device, you can just click on add monitor. You can provide a template name, a folder path, holding interval, and you can provide the folder, and you have the different categories like folder existence, folder size, and folder modification. And since the folder is rarely empty, you can also choose to monitor the files within that folder through the file name contains section, file size or age, or file count under the files filter. And to add it to multiple devices, just click on the folders under monitoring. So if you want to add a new one, just click on, again, just provide the details of the template name, folder path, and so on. And to proceed the same and do the same procedure to add or associate folder templates for multiple devices. So before we move on, I request all of you to please take a moment and participate in the polls and let us know the feedback about this session. So I've got another request for folder monitoring, so I'll go through it again. So let's click on a device, let's click on monitors, add folder monitoring here. Click on add monitor to add a folder monitor to a single device, provide the template name, the path, provide a polling interval, and you have the folder monitoring metrics under here, like the folder existence, the folder size, and the folder modification. The folder existence is a check whether the folder exists or not. You can also choose to not monitor if necessary. You can provide a folder size to alert you if the folder goes beyond a particular size, or you can also choose to be alerted if the folder has been modified in any. And you can choose to monitor the files that exist within that folder. You can choose from where the file name contains a certain string, or you can choose to monitor it based on the file size or age, or the number of files present within that folder. And to associate it or add it to multiple devices, just click on folders, click on add, provide a template name, folder path, and it's pretty much the same procedure, and associating it to multiple devices. So we've listed our solutions and review platforms like Gartner Peer Insights and Capterra. We encourage customers to review us on these platforms, review our solutions, and win an Amazon gift card. If you want to learn more in detail about OpManager, you can sign up for the certification and become an OpManager associate. The bonus is that for all participants who attend all 4 sessions without pay, we will grant you access to the certification program, which is worth $49 for free. Once you pass the certification test, you will be awarded with the OpManager associate level certificate. OpManager is now FIPS compliant. FIPS, FIPS is a new security procedure provided by the American government. And OpManager is also Llama compliant. In accordance with new regulations issued by SEBI, OpManagers will now report technical glitches within the time period specified and provide a detailed RCA to the official email address. So you can find more video resources of OpManager's feature in our YouTube channel, ManageEngine. Please subscribe to the channel if you do not want to miss all the latest videos of the product. You can learn more on how to use our products from our help pages. Please use the link given here. You can also participate in our online forum and let us know your opinions and queries about the product. If you need further help, please mail us in the given mail ID or call us in the numbers. We also have a Reddit page where we post product related updates for all our item suite of products. Please follow us on Reddit and never miss an update. Also follow us on LinkedIn. Follow Managers ITOM on LinkedIn to gain exclusive insights on the state of ITOM, learn about upcoming events, and stay up to date on our latest product updates and enhancements. You can also read customer stories to know how OpManager works in this new world.